Breaking news, it is happening. The greatest NFL coach of all time has agreed to become the next head coach of the North Carolina Tarheels. That's the latest from our Jonathan Jones. Bill Belichick, the six-time Super Bowl champion head coach, going to take over for Mack Brown. Mack Brown 73. Bill Belichick will turn 73 in the spring. Nearly 50 years of coaching experience in the National Football League, but he has never coached at the college level. Let's bring in Jonathan Jones now. JJ, how did we get here?
It's still hard to believe, Chris. Let's just be honest about it, right? Because ever since Bill Belichick did not get a head coaching job this past offseason, the belief around the league, around the entire football world was he wanted to get back into the NFL in this upcoming coaching cycle so that he could ultimately, in 2 or 3 seasons' time, break Don Shula's all-time wins record. One of the great football historians that Bill Belichick is, hoping to really, truly leave a lasting imprint, even more so than the 6 Super Bowls as a head coach and 2 as an assistant coach. But let's go back to more than a week ago when he first had a conversation with the University of North Carolina. And look, folks that I had spoken to thought it was a leverage play. It was he wanted everyone to know that he wanted to get back into coaching, and this was a respectable enough job opportunity. So I'll have that conversation. And North Carolina wants to be viewed as a desirable location. So yes, of course, Bill Belichick wants to talk to us, and we want the world to know about it. But then later in the week, they had another meeting on Thursday in Manhattan between Bill Belichick, the chancellor of UNC, and the athletic director. And that's when talks really progressed and picked up. They continued into Sunday in Massachusetts, where they met for about 5 hours, and they discussed organizational flow charts, if you will. But all along, there were a few sort of guarantees that Bill Belichick needed. And we are still going to await the details exactly of the millions of dollars that UNC is ultimately going to commit to NIL. And we're still going to wait on the details of Bill Belichick's contract and how much money Carolina was willing to offer Bill Belichick in this deal. So those terms have not yet come out, but it was always centered around money, around a commitment to excellence for a football program that has been in search of being elite for many, many years, and that has eluded them for some time. And so now UNC lands the biggest fish they possibly could, getting Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I feel like you're uniquely qualified to kind of talk on what North Carolina has seen itself as and has been wanting for a long time as a UNC grad. What does this mean to that university and that athletic department?
Well, it's huge, right? I mean, there's no bigger coup, right, than getting arguably the greatest football coach of all time to lead your football program. There are plenty of potential cons to this, and I think that we can all sort of explore those, and a lot of people can guess at those, and we'll talk about that probably in a little bit. But this is a huge, huge get for Carolina, whether it works out or not, right? It's a huge get for UNC. There are a couple of unique, I don't want to call them challenges necessarily, but there are issues when it comes to North Carolina football. Look, this is still a basketball school, so this NIL money, you're not going to take away from basketball, from the program that wants to win a 7th NCAA national championship. There's also a very robust Olympic sports program at Carolina, so you don't want to take away from sports that are actually winning national championships, right? You have things like women's soccer, for example. Like, they just won a national championship. You are going to want to be able to continue to house those programs and not take from them. So those are just a couple of issues and instances that I would point to here, where North Carolina is going to have to figure out where this money is coming from, where these resources are going to be pulled from in order to fund what Bill Belichick ultimately wants.
Usually it's the college head coach that wins and tries his hand at the NFL, the Nick Sabans, the Urban Meyers of the world. This is the opposite. We don't see this as much. I mean, Bill Walsh, 30-plus years ago, wins multiple titles with the Niners, then goes to college. How unprecedented is this in this day and age?
I mean, it is remarkably impressive. Let's also consider this, Chris. They could always have there's going to be 5, 6, 7 NFL head coach job openings. Now, we know that Bill Belichick is not going to take and would not have taken the New York Jets job, for example. But a lot of folks around the league thought that it set up quite nicely for him to potentially take the Jacksonville Jaguars job if and when it opens, and people assume that it will open at the end of the year. For Carolina to get this, and look, it's a changing landscape, right? When Bill Walsh did his thing, when Nick Saban, went to Miami and then went to Alabama, all of those things, that's a different college football landscape. We heard from Bill Belichick on Monday on the Pat McAfee show, where he talked about that he's going to basically create an NFL program at the college level. And so what you need to do that, and I think he wants to do a sort of draft and develop pipeline. I don't know that that's going to exist in college, where this is really more of a free agency like model. That is why NIL, that is why revenue share is so crucial and important for the UNC football program to thrive. This is a group, a school that they hired Butch Davis, 15 or so years ago, hoping to be a big-time player in national football and in that conversation. It didn't work out. It led to an NCAA scandal. It set the program back many years. But they do believe that Bill Belichick obviously is going to be able to deliver to them some college football playoff appearances.
Jonathan Jones with us here on this breaking news. It doesn't get much bigger than this in college football and the NFL combined. Bill Belichick agreeing to become the next head coach of the North Carolina Tarheels.